Half his life, William Van Wise lived with depression and anxiety.
I've always been on medication and trying to balance it.
Last year, he did what he's always done, sought help. He checked himself into Northwest's Behavioral Health Unit.
That unit is straight out of the 1950s, One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
Once trying to get in, after a few days, he found himself fighting to get out.
I thought many times, hey, I can run out that door and see how far I can go.
Van Wise, one of 11 people who have filed lawsuits against the hospital and its former attending physician, Dr. Brian Hyatt. 7 of them, Van Wise included, are claiming false imprisonment. Van Wise, during his 2022 stay at Northwest Behavioral Unit, even petitioned a circuit court for his own release. That petition claimed Van Wise was being unlawfully detained by Northwest Medical Center and Hyatt. It continues, saying that he demanded his release and has been denied.
I was calling my husband, calling my friends, saying this place is not safe.
The motion for release goes on to say Van Wise's husband even showed up to the facility and asked that he be released and was denied.
I've never felt more threatened than I did right then.
None of it worked until he got this court order for his immediate release.
I have a court order from Judge Taylor in circuit court.
The judge ruled that the Washington County Sheriff or other law enforcement helps enforce it. This body cam video showing that moment.
I can't leave until he's released.
It's like breaking out of jail. You're scared and you're under this rock of power, and you get out and you almost don't know what to do with yourself.
I asked to leave every day for the last 3 days, and they would not let me leave.
Van Wise wasn't the only one. We found 2 other court orders for the release of patients at Northwest Medical Center Springdale. Hyatt's not listed as a respondent in those orders, but the hospital is. Those patients are now also suing the hospital and Hyatt. This dash cam showing Washington County Sheriff's deputies serving the court order which demanded one of those patients' immediate release from Northwest.
Hey, paper served!
Hyatt's attorney has responded to one of the lawsuits against him so far, denying the claims and asking for the case to be dismissed. The hospital also denied the allegations in that same lawsuit. The plaintiff did dismiss the claims against a nurse that was previously listed as a defendant. These are not the only people to accuse Hyatt of holding them against their will. Darius Racy is also suing for false imprisonment related to his time at the hospital in April 2022.
Getting out of there messed me up. I'm just not getting back to work.
In a search warrant affidavit related to Hyatt's Medicaid fraud case, an investigator with the state's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit says at least some of the patients on the unit were being held against their will, and only a physician could make the decision to impose a 72-hour hold. A doctor can legally hold a patient with a behavioral health impairment involuntarily for 72 hours, but Van Wise says that's not what was happening.
And you were there voluntarily.
Yeah, I was there voluntarily.
In his petition, his attorney said there was a long-standing practice of coercing patients into signing consents rather than letting due process take place. Other hospital employees not named in these petitions are now also being accused of mistreating patients.
We found 2 arrest affidavits from March of 2 people who used to work here with Dr. Hyatt. They're accused of abusing patients last year.
Affidavits say in March 2022, Colin Harlan and Isaiah Morris threw a patient to the ground. 2 days later, x-rays showed 2 of the patient's ribs were fractured. In another instance that month, Morris allegedly slapped a patient who was restrained in a restraint chair. Both men have pleaded not guilty. A hospital spokesperson telling us, quote, "It is not our practice to comment on current or former employees. I am able to confirm these individuals have not been employees of our health system since April 2022. Now out of the behavioral health unit,
I'm a good person, and I moved up here with a purpose.
They face new emotional challenges.
Now my struggle is I'm trying to figure out just how messed up am I and do I need this medicine?
An experience uniting these 4 strangers.
Oh my gosh, you saved my life.
And they believe many others who have yet to come forward.